Hey, Holy Girls, welcome back to Holy Girl Talk. I am truly so thankful you're here. Whether you've been listening since episode 1 or this is your first time sitting in this space, I want you to know this. You are seen, you are welcome, and you belong here. This podcast is where faith meets real life, where we talk about God, calling, emotions, purpose, heartbreak, hope, and everything in between. So pause for a second, breathe, and just know it is not an accident that you press play today. God always meets you where you are, and today He wants to talk to you about one of the deepest questions you've probably asked silently again and again. God, what am I here for? Before we begin, I want to ask something of you. If this podcast has blessed you, helped you, or made you feel less alone, please consider sharing it. Send it to a sister who's struggling to figure out her life direction. Text it to a friend who's been doubting herself. Post it to your story. This message might be the lifeline someone else has been praying for, and God might use you to deliver it. Today's episode is titled Discovering Your Purpose, Calling and Destiny, and it is a conversation that reaches into the core of who you are. Because whether you admit it out loud or keep it locked inside your chest, every woman carries this longing. I want my life to matter. I want to know why God put me here, why certain things happen to me, why I think the way I do, why I feel pulled towards some things and repelled by others, why I have dreams bigger than what my life currently looks like. Purpose is not a luxury topic, it is a soul topic, and today we're going to slow down and let God speak into it. Purpose is often treated like a destination we have to chase or a title we have to earn, but biblically, purpose is not an accomplishment. Purpose is identity. It is who you are before it is ever what you do. Purpose is the imprint of God within you, the way He wired your personality, your compassion, your intuition, your creativity, your mind, your way of seeing the world. Purpose is God expressing Himself through your life. That means your purpose didn't begin when you got your degree, when you started your business, when you gave your life to Christ, or when someone validated you. Your purpose began the moment God imagined you. Purpose is not performance. You don't have to be perfect, spiritual enough, successful enough, or confident enough to have purpose. Purpose is simply this: you were created on purpose for purpose. No one has to approve it for it to be true. No one can cancel it. No mistake you've made can erase it. Purpose is the starting point of your entire life, and because God never creates without purpose, your existence itself is proof that you have one. And here's something that might surprise you: purpose is often quiet. It's not always loud, glamorous, or public. Sometimes purpose looks like listening. Sometimes purpose looks like encouraging someone who is about to give up. Sometimes purpose looks like praying when no one sees. Purpose can live in an office cubicle, a classroom, an apartment, a hospital floor, a kitchen table, a local church, a social media account, anywhere God has placed you. Purpose is not about platform, it is about presence. Before you ever ask, what am I called to do? God asks, who are you becoming? Because purpose flows from identity, not insecurity. You're not trying to go find your purpose somewhere outside yourself. You're learning to uncover what God already planted within you. One of the biggest reasons so many women feel lost, confused, or behind is because we lump every spiritual concept into one category and call it purpose, when really, scripture shows there are layers to how God unfolds your life. Purpose is your why, the foundational truth that you were created to reflect God, to know Him, to love, to serve, to shine light, and to carry His heart into the world. Purpose never changes. Even if you change cities, jobs, relationships, churches, confidence levels, your purpose remains the same. It is your identity level assignment. Calling is your what God is asking you to do in a particular season. Calling is usually temporary, seasonal, and evolving. Your calling at 25 may not be your calling at 35. Sometimes a calling lasts years, sometimes only months. God may call you to lead a ministry, start a business, go back to school, take a rest season, write, speak, or serve quietly behind the scenes. Calling shifts as you grow. Destiny is your storyline, the full picture of what God writes through your obedience, your decisions, your valleys, your victories, and your tears. Destiny is the long arc of your life, the legacy that remains long after the season you're in. Destiny is not discovered overnight. Destiny is the fruit that shows up after years of walking with God, saying yes when no one saw, and trusting Him when it didn't make sense. When you understand these distinctions, shame falls off. because suddenly you realize you can be in purpose even while you're still discovering calling. You can be unsure about the next step and still be on track for your destiny. You don't have to have all the answers to be aligned with God. You simply have to keep showing up, keep walking, and keep saying, Lord, I trust you even here. Purpose is not discovered by Googling what is my calling or taking a personality quiz. Purpose is revealed slowly, personally, intentionally by God. And the way he reveals it is rarely loud or dramatic. It usually comes through four quiet but powerful places: identity, gifting, pain, and story. God begins with identity. Before God ever tells you what to do, he tells you who you are. Think about Jesus before a miracle, before a sermon, before a public ministry. The Father said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Identity always precedes assignment. This means your purpose doesn't begin with hustle, it begins with being loved. When you root yourself in who you are to God, you stop asking, Am I good enough? And start asking, God, what would you like to do with the woman I already am? Next, God reveals purpose through gifts, your natural strengths, the things you didn't force, the way you think, the way you solve problems, the way people naturally come to you for certain needs. Some of you lead without trying. Some of you soothe hearts with peace just by being present. Some of you dream in vision and strategy. Some of you create beauty and atmosphere. Those abilities were not accidental. They are breadcrumbs pointing to where your life will be multiplied. But just as often, God reveals purpose through pain. Many women hate this part. They think their pain is proof they're disqualified. But biblically, pain often is the qualification. Joseph's betrayal positioned him to interpret dreams for kings. Hannah's anguish birthed the prophet. Naomi's emptiness led to Ruth's lineage. Even your heartbreak, disappointment, and trauma, the parts of you you think God would ignore, are usually the areas he will one day use to free others. Hell attacks what heaven intends to use. Finally, purpose becomes clear through story. What you lived through, what shaped you, what healed you, and what broke you. Your story is not random. Your childhood, your fears, your triumphs, your survival, they are pieces of a divine mosaic. When you tell your story, you unlock someone else's. When you share what God did for you, it becomes evidence that he can do it again. Purpose is rarely one lightning bolt revelation. It is a lifelong conversation with God where he keeps whispering, look here, notice this. Pay attention to what lights you up. Pay attention to what breaks your heart. Pay attention to who you become when you are closest to me. God reveals purpose gradually because he wants relationship, not just results. So many holy girls live with a quiet pressure inside their chest, a pressure that whispers, you're running out of time. It shows up when you scroll social media and see someone else buying the house, getting married, launching the business, having the baby, moving to the city, or walking into a season you've been praying for. Comparison turns someone else's testimony into your timeline. Suddenly you feel behind even though God never said you were. This pressure is real, it's emotional, and it's heavy. Because deep down, what you're actually afraid of is wasting your life, missing your assignment, not becoming who you know you could be. There is a holy ache inside every woman that asks, God, don't let me die without becoming everything you imagined when you formed me. But that fear, that urgency, is often driven more by culture than Christ. The world says your purpose must be visible, loud, marketable, impressive. God says your purpose begins in the secret place. The world says success is measured by money, numbers, likes, influence. God says success is measured by obedience. The world says if you're not seen, you're losing. God says if you're hidden, you're being formed. Some women feel behind because life didn't unfold how they expected. You thought you'd be farther. You thought you'd be her. You thought your timeline was the right one. And when disappointment meets unfulfilled expectations, pressure is born. But hear this with love, you are not behind. You are becoming. God has never rushed your life. God is not pacing heaven saying, why isn't she successful yet? Or she should have figured it out by now. No, God is patient with his process because he knows what he is growing inside you. Purpose requires depth. Calling requires character. Destiny requires foundation. A fast life cannot hold a heavy anointing. This pressure also comes from fear. Fear of choosing wrong, fear of missing God, fear of wasting time. But here is the comfort many women never hear. God is sovereign enough to redirect you even if you take a wrong turn. You cannot ruin his plan by being human. He is bigger than your confusion. When you feel like time is slipping, remember this: God is the one who made time. He is not limited by it, he restores years. He accelerates seasons. He redeems time lost in pain or uncertainty. Nothing is wasted when it is surrendered back into his hands. So breathe. Release your chest. You are not late. You are not slow. You are not forgotten. You are on schedule for a destiny that is being written with eternal intention. When it comes to purpose, most of us want answers instantly. We want clarity, a 5-year plan, and a divine PDF that tells us exactly what to do and when. But purpose is not downloaded, it is revealed, and God reveals it at the pace that protects you. Discovering your purpose begins with intimacy, not activity. Before God tells you what to do, he anchors you in who you are. That means the very first step is spending time with him without an agenda. Not praying only to ask, what is my calling, but praying simply to say, God, what is on your heart today? Purpose flows out of relationship. The closer you are to his voice, the clearer your assignment becomes. The next step in discovering your purpose is paying attention to what naturally stirs you. God speaks not only through scripture and prayer, but also through the way he wired you. What moves you emotionally? What do you notice before others do? What have people always told you that you're good at? Sometimes purpose hides in the places you overlook because you assume they're too easy or too obvious. But what feels natural to you might be supernatural in God's hands. Start paying attention to your patterns, the books you gravitate toward, the conversations you keep having, the problems you can't ignore. These things are not random, they are clues. Then comes self-honesty, and this part is uncomfortable. Sit with the question, what broke me that I survived? Often your purpose is connected to your pain. God redeems suffering by turning it into assignment. Women who battled anxiety often become safe spaces for others. Women who grew up unseen often create spaces where others feel known. Women who struggled alone often become the friend or leader they once needed. Ask God, what did I live through that changed me and could change others if I shared it? Your testimony is a map to someone else's freedom. Once you've looked inward, it's time to look outward. Purpose is always connected to people. God does not give you gifts for you to admire them. He gives you gifts because someone needs what you carry. Purpose comes alive when you move from internal reflection to external action. That means taking one small obedient step, not waiting until you feel confident, but stepping even while you feel unsure. Apply for the program, start the project, volunteer, send the email, post the message. Begin the thing that scares you. Purpose clarifies through movement. Clarity rarely comes while sitting still. And finally, expect the process to feel slow. This is where most women give up, not because they're uncalled, but because they're impatient. Purpose unfolds like sunrise, slowly, then all at once. One day you will look back and realize that everything made sense. Every delay, every heartbreak, every hidden season, every unanswered prayer, nothing was wasted. God was preparing you, strengthening you, and shaping you for the very thing you are now stepping into. Your only job is to keep saying yes, not once, not loudly, but daily. Destiny is not a single moment, a single job, or a single spotlight. Destiny is the long, winding, surprising storyline God writes through your yes, year after year, season after season. Destiny is the accumulation of every decision where you chose faith instead of fear, obedience instead of comfort, healing instead of hiding. Destiny is not built in one dramatic leap. It is formed through thousands of quiet choices no one saw. When God talks about destiny, he is talking about the lifetime impact of your existence, the ripple effect of your courage, your prayers, your healing, your voice, your presence. Destiny is what your life becomes when you consistently allow God to shape you instead of letting the world define you. Destiny also requires time, and this is where impatience becomes the enemy. You will not see the fullness of your destiny while you are still being prepared. You are living inside the middle chapters of your story, and it is unfair to judge yourself by a page you have not finished reading. Sometimes God delays destiny because he loves you too much to give you something you are not yet ready to protect. A blessing released too early becomes a burden. A calling without character becomes a trap. So if you feel like you are waiting, like nothing is happening, like others are moving faster, hear this gently. You might be early, not late. God often slows the beginning so the ending can be eternal. Your destiny will not look like anyone else's, and that is by design. Comparison is one of the quickest ways to sabotage destiny because it convinces you to abandon your lane and chase someone else's story. But God did not make you a copy. He did not create you to be a lesser version of another woman. He handcrafted you, your wiring, your humor, your trauma, your testimony, your ideas, your dreams, because your destiny requires you, not the edited you, not the socially acceptable you, the real, healed, surrendered, God shaped you. And here is the part many women never hear. Your destiny is not only about what you do, it is about who you become. God is more concerned with shaping your heart than handing you a platform. He is more invested in your wholeness than your highlight reel. Destiny is revealed when your identity matches your assignment, when who you are aligns with what He is calling you to release into the world. That takes time, that takes pruning. That takes uncomfortable seasons where God strips away what cannot go with you into the future He designed. But destiny is also joyful. It is the moment where everything comes full circle, where you begin to recognize why certain doors close, why certain people left, why certain seasons hurt, and why God took you the long way around. Destiny is when your life becomes a testimony, when you realize that the girl who once cried on the bathroom floor is now the woman who can lead, speak comfort, write, mentor, or pray because she lived it. Destiny is when your existence becomes evidence that God is real. One of the greatest attacks on a woman's purpose is pressure. The internal weight that whispers, you're behind, you're not doing enough, you should be further by now. Pressure has a way of suffocating joy, making you question your worth, and convincing you that God somehow expects you to rush into greatness. But holy girl, hear this in your spirit, pressure is not from God. Pressure comes from comparison, culture, timelines, and fear. Purpose comes from God, and purpose is birthed in peace, not panic. Comparison is the silent thief of calling. It convinces you to judge your progress according to someone else's pace. Maybe you scroll on social media and see someone your age married with children while you are still praying for partnership. Maybe you watch friends get promotions while you're stuck in a job that drains you. Maybe someone launched a business, ministry, or platform and already seems successful while you're still in the dreaming and planning stages. If you aren't careful, comparison will tell you that your life is somehow less valuable because it looks different. But different is not less. Different is divine. God does not copy and paste destinies. He custom designs them. Sometimes the pressure comes from within. Maybe you grew up believing you must prove yourself through achievement, success, productivity, or perfection. Maybe somewhere along the line you learned that the only way to be loved was to be useful. So now, even in your relationship with God, you subconsciously believe you have to earn your calling, that if you mess up, God will change His mind about you. But God chose you with full knowledge of your weaknesses, imperfections, mistakes, and learning curves. Pressure tells you to perform. Purpose asks you to surrender. To release comparison, you must first release the lie that there is only one timeline. God is not bound by age. Moses was 80 when God called him. Sarah birthed at 90. David was a teenager when he was chosen. Jesus waited 30 years before his ministry began. Purpose is not measured by speed, it is measured by obedience. Heaven is not impressed by how fast you got there, only by whether you let God lead. Comparison also fades when you begin to bless what God is doing for others instead of resenting it. When you see someone else receive what you're praying for, that is not proof that God is late. It is proof that God is working. And if He is working for them, He can work for you. Someone else's testimony is not your competition, it's a prophecy. Letting go of pressure means allowing yourself to breathe again. It means giving yourself permission to be in process. It means understanding that nothing God is calling you to do requires you to lose your peace to accomplish it. God never says hurry, He says be still. God never says earn it, He says receive it. God never says compare, He says come closer. You are becoming, you are unfolding, you are rising, even if it feels slow. Release pressure, release timelines, release comparison. You do not have to rush what God is preparing. You just have to stay close to Him. Understanding that you have a purpose is powerful, but the next question almost every holy girl asks is, okay, but how do I actually find it? This is where many women get stuck. We think purpose will arrive like a lightning bolt, one dramatic moment where everything suddenly becomes clear. but purpose is often uncovered layer by layer through intimacy with God, self awareness, and obedience in the small things. Discovering your purpose is not about forcing answers, it is about positioning yourself to receive them. The first place purpose begins is with God, not with a personality test or a 5 year plan. Purpose is birthed in His presence. When you spend time with God, praying, journaling, worshiping, sitting still, He begins to show you who you are, not who trauma made you, not who people expect you to be, not who comparison has pressured you to become, but who He designed you to be before you even took your first breath. Purpose begins with identity, and identity is revealed through intimacy. Next, you discover purpose by paying attention to your holy clues. What lights you up? What breaks your heart? What comes naturally to you, even when others struggle? What problems do you feel compelled to solve? What conversations make your soul come alive? These are not random, these are fingerprints of calling. God hides purpose in your passions, talents, personality, and even the things that annoy you. If the injustice frustrates you, maybe you were born to change it. If the need burdens you, maybe you were born to fill it. If the idea keeps returning, maybe God planted it. Purpose is also revealed through pain. The things that try to destroy you often become the very places God uses you. The woman who survived heartbreak becomes a voice of healing. The girl who battled anxiety becomes a safe space for others. The one who felt unseen becomes a leader of the overlooked. Pain becomes your passport, the stamp that proves you've walked through hell and lived to help someone find heaven. Do not despise what you endured. God may turn it into purpose. Another key to discovering purpose is movement. Purpose does not reveal itself to those who stay stagnant. Many women say, "God, show me what to do," while making no moves at all. But God often reveals direction as you go. You learn by trying. You discover by doing. You refine by showing up. Your purpose may begin messy, uncertain, or imperfect, and that is holy. If you wait to feel ready, you will delay destiny. Faith is taking the first step without clarity and trusting that clarity will come. And perhaps the most freeing truth of all, purpose is not a destination. It is not one final answer you must get perfectly right. Purpose evolves as you grow. What God asks of you at 25 may not be what He asks at 35 or 50. Calling is seasonal. Assignment is shifting. Purpose is consistent, but how it expresses itself changes. Give yourself permission to evolve. So, how do you actually discover your purpose? You stay close to God. You pay attention to the clues. You honor your gifts. You let your pain speak. You move even when uncertain. You listen to where peace lives inside your spirit. And you choose obedience, one small, brave yes at a time. Destiny is the part that feels mysterious, the part that is written by God long before you ever step into it. And here's the beautiful truth. Your destiny is not something you chase, it is something you grow into. Destiny unfolds through every yes, every prayer, every tear, every closed door, every rerouted plan, and every moment you thought God forgot you. Destiny is not the pretty highlight reel you imagine in your head. It is the behind the scenes work God is doing while you don't even realize anything is happening. Destiny looks like this. You go through something painful, and later you meet someone who needs the exact wisdom you gained. You thought you were just surviving, but God was preparing a testimony. Destiny looks like a job you hated teaching you discipline. Destiny looks like friendships that didn't work out, making space for the ones that will honor your growth. Destiny looks like the apartment you cried and becoming the place where you learned how to pray. Destiny looks like the waiting season, where you thought nothing was happening, when actually everything was being built. God writes destiny in invisible ink, and it becomes visible only when the timing is right. Most of us want destiny to come fast. We want answers, assignments, and clarity today. But destiny is slow cooked, not microwaved. It is layered with purpose, pruning, maturity, healing, community, character development, spiritual formation, and divine timing. Destiny doesn't only care about what you do, destiny cares about who you become. What good is arriving at the palace if you haven't developed the heart to lead? What good is a platform if you don't have depth? What good is an answered prayer if you collapse under it emotionally, spiritually, or mentally? Destiny also requires trust. You will walk through seasons where God feels silent and yet He is writing. You will be placed in unfamiliar environments and yet He is positioning you. You will feel detours that make no sense and yet He is protecting you. Destiny is rarely logical while it's happening. It is only logical once you look back and say, oh, now I see what God was doing. The breakup that crushed you saved you. The delay that frustrated you grew you. The opportunity that didn't work out redirected you. Destiny is full of divine interruptions you didn't ask for but needed. And here is the hope: no mistake, no wrong turn, no wasted year has the power to cancel what God wrote. You are not strong enough to ruin your destiny. You might slow yourself down, but you cannot rewrite what heaven has already stamped with approval. The enemy may try to interfere, but he cannot override what God has spoken. When you surrender, when you realign, when you return to God, destiny continues. So, destiny is not a race. Destiny is a rhythm, the rhythm of grace, obedience, surrender, correction, and growth. It happens as you walk, it happens as you heal, it happens as you trust. Destiny is not somewhere far away, it is being written in you right now. Before we close today's episode, I want you to take a breath, a deep, slow breath, and remember this: you are not behind, you are not late, you are not forgotten. You are not still figuring it out while everyone else has a manual. You are exactly where God is shaping you. Every step you've taken, every door that opened or didn't, every season you've walked through, it all belongs. Nothing about your life is accidental, even the parts you're embarrassed by, even the chapters that make you emotional, even the memories you wish you could erase. God is a master at taking every fragment and turning it into something whole. Sometimes all you need to do is remove the pressure. You don't have to find your purpose by Thursday. You don't have to know your destiny in full detail. You don't have to have a 5-year vision board that looks Pinterest worthy. You just need to say yes to today, yes to becoming who God is asking you to be right now, yes to listening, yes to resting when He asks you to rest, yes to acting when He tells you to move. Purpose is not a chase, it's a becoming. If no one has told you this in a long time, hear it now. You are enough. Right here, right now. God isn't waiting for a better version of you before He can use you. He is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is inviting you to be available. Heaven has already backed you. You have been chosen long before you ever questioned whether you are worthy. That insecurity you feel, it cannot edit what God wrote. That fear you've been battling, it cannot erase what He planned. Your purpose is stronger than your self-doubt. As you leave this episode, I want you to picture yourself stepping forward, not into pressure, not into hustle, but into alignment, into clarity, into peace, into a future where you trust that you are being guided. You don't have to map it, God is already leading. You don't have to qualify yourself, He already did. Your job is simply to walk with Him, step by step, breath by breath, yes by yes. And if this episode spoke to you, if something resonated, if you felt seen, if you felt held, I want you to share it. Send it to a friend who is confused about her purpose. Post it in your group chat, share it on your Instagram story, not for numbers, not for ego, but because someone else is silently praying for the clarity you just received. Your obedience to share may be the answer to someone else's prayer. Thank you, Holy Girl, for listening today. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for choosing to grow. If you have prayer requests, testimonies, or episode ideas, email holygirltalkpodcast@gmail.com. I love you, I'm proud of you, and I cannot wait to see what God unfolds in your life. Your purpose is unfolding, your calling is emerging, and your destiny is already written. Keep going. Heaven is cheering you on.